It was the moment of truth for perhaps some engineers of the future. Today, 21 high school and middle school teams tested the load-bearing ability of the spaghetti bridges they built in the 17th annual Spaghetti Bridge Building Competition at Jefferson Community College. The only materials that could be used, spaghetti and hot glue. Organizers say the kids learned teamwork and creative problem solving and gained some understanding of structural loads.
It's a really fun event for local schools to get together and have some competition. The students really enjoy it. There's a really energetic atmosphere. We really want to get students interested in engineering and help them be creative problem solvers.
Today's competition was sponsored by two local engineering firms, Aubertine and Courier, and BCA Engineers and Architects. BCA also awarded scholarships to the winning teams.